Hi out there in Cyberland, Cindy Curran here, coming to you from the Spiritually Charged Life, formerly known as Enlightenment Now. I changed my name because, quite simply, I wanted to get a website going, but Enlightenment Now was already taken. I didn't know things were going to take off as much as they did, so, well, anyway, long story. So I changed it to the Spiritually Charged Life because that's how I feel. I've been living the spiritual life and I feel so charged, so much energy, and good things are happening, and synchronicity is happening into my life. So I just thought it was fitting. And I'm going to explain in a future video how to live that spiritually charged life. But today I'd like to talk about how to talk to your guardian angels. I had an experience about 3 years ago, and I was going through kind of a tough time. It wasn't where I am right now today, and I was having a tough time. And I read in a book, if you want to talk to your guardian angels, demand it. Tell them to say to them, guardian angels, I want a sign, but I want you to make it so big and so strong that there is no denying that this sign came from you. And I let it go. And like 3 days later, I was at a Cracker Barrel with my family, and I was standing beside this it was like a rack of stuffed animals, and it was kind of crowded, but in this space that I was in, there was nobody there. All of a sudden, this stuffed animal, and as strange as it sounds, honest to God, this happened, this stuffed animal flew out of, almost as if on its own, flew out of its enclosure. It wasn't an enclosure, it was kind of like a rack, so they were all stuffed on top, and it flew out and it hit me in the head. This is it right here. This was the fox. It just flew out of the thing and just hit me in the temple, just like that. And I'm looking around. I'm thinking somebody just threw a stuffed animal at me. Even though I didn't see anybody behind the rack, by the corner of my eye, it felt like somebody threw something at me. And this woman came up to me. She picked the stuffed animal up off the floor, and she said, "This just flew out of the rack and hit you on the head." And I said, "It didn't look like anybody was around." And she's like, "Nobody was standing there." She said, I was standing right in back of you. Nobody was standing there. It just flew out of the rack." And she was like dumbfounded. She's like, "You have to buy this stuffed animal," because at first I wasn't going to buy it. "You have to buy this stuffed animal." And so of course I have it, as you see. So the message was so big and strong. I had a witness. So I could not deny what happened. There was actually a couple of ladies behind me. She was with her family, but she was the one who stepped forward. And another thing, so that was about 3 years ago. And then about a month ago, again, I was going through a bad time. And people think because you live a spiritual life that you don't have bad times or you don't have difficulties. And I want to stress that is furthest from the truth. Because if a spiritual person or anybody has no problems, no challenges, no dilemmas, number one, life would be pretty boring. Number two, we wouldn't be on this earth because we would be above everybody, and we would be this perfect person, and there would be no reason to be here on earth. So I want to stress that. So anyway, I'm going through a rough time, and I don't want to feed energy into what was going on, but it was a rough time. So I said to my guardian angels, I said, "Okay, you sent me a sign 3 years ago. I need another sign. I need to know you're there because I'm not feeling you right now." And I read, and I'm telling them this, I said, "I have read in many places that guardian angels leave certain things like feathers or pennies. They leave them for people to see, to let their people know that the guardian angels are around." So I said, "Okay, so I want to see a penny." So a couple of days later, I was walking, and there was this penny in the road. And it was in an odd place because it was almost like in the middle of the road. And so I picked it up, and I said, "Okay, I got a penny, But you see pennies around all the time. It's not a big deal. It's, how do I know this penny is coming from you? I want to see more than one penny. So less than a week goes by, probably 3 or 4 days goes by. I'm walking in the same place, and in the street I see 4 pennies. And these pennies were in a specific order. There was like one here, and then down here, one here, and then one here. So it wasn't like somebody just dropped the pennies on the floor. They were in a specific order. Now I'm just in a really crappy mood. So I say to my guardian angels, I said, oh yeah, the pennies were filthy. They were just absolutely grubby. And I said, oh yeah, great. You sent me these dirty pennies. I want to see, if you're really there, I want to see a shiny, brand new penny. Sure enough, less than a week later, I was at Walmart's. And it was pretty crowded. And for some reason, almost like when you're in a room and everybody's talking and all of a sudden everybody goes quiet, it was kind of like that kind of scenario. In addition to, even though it was crowded, for a moment it seemed like nobody was around, and something shiny caught my eye on the floor. And I looked down, and underneath the light, it was directly under the light, was a shiny brand new penny. There it is, right there. A shiny brand new penny on the floor. So I go and I pick it up and I said, okay, and now I believe. Now I know you're there. So that's what I want to say. You know, they came across the veil to give me, I believe, these pennies. It was too much to be coincidental. So if you want to talk to your guardian angels, I would recommend, even if you don't believe, see if it works, but you got to let it go. Demand to them, I want to see evidence. I want to see some kind of evidence that you're there. And that way, there's no way I can deny, in such a way, I want to see evidence that you're there in such a way that there's no way I can deny it. And I would love to hear the results if anybody's interested in sharing. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this message, please share it. Please subscribe to my channel. That way all my videos will come right into your mailbox. And like my video, that would be great. Thank you so much again for joining me. It has been a pleasure. May you live long and prosperous. Peace out.